astrology is returning. It's an ancient tool that you can lean into because why? Every single day, we know the sun's coming up. We know what increments the moon. But they've always known this, literally, how to execute a chart and determine every single day the sun moves 1 degree around the sky. So we know on the day you were born, every year the sun moves to the same. It's very calculated. It's very consistent. It's very stable. What on this planet is stable? Oh, that's right. The Earth is, but the humans?
Hello. Welcome to Heal Thyself. Whoa. Okay. What a show. For many years, I've resisted even speaking about astrology because I know that me with my science mind and really sticking onto studies and only believing for so many years what is in the data, I didn't want to believe in the esoteric. But it would be silly to think that. It would be silly to think that we understand the world and the nature of the world by simply just seeing it in research. Research helps. Research gives us light. But my God, I would say 1% of the world, maybe we understand. The rest of it is so esoteric. And the more we try to understand it, it goes right through our fingers. So guess what? I have the OG. I'm talking about the first and one of the most popular, gifted, talented astrologers around. And she's a psychotherapist. So she's grounded in so much of the mental health, and she's grounded so much in the science, but also is so talented at reading what the heck is going on in the stars when you were born. And it's going to be a fantastic episode because even if you believe in it or not, it's going to be fun. She's going to be talking about some important stuff. She's going to read my stuff. And I'm really excited to see if she's going to hit it right on the head or she's going to miss. And I'm going to be straight up. I'm going to let her know if she's hitting it on the head. And I'm going to let you, the audience, know it's going to be straight up. So very excited to have this conversation about astrology because I've always found in my life that sometimes I'll do this app or I'll read about this and I'm like, wow, that actually resonates. It's not like I'm trying to make it fit. I'm not trying to make it resonate. No, it's actually pretty cool. And so stay tuned because Debra is going to blow your mind when it comes to reading the stars. Does astrology play a role in people's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health?
100% yes.
100%.
It's unfortunate that the mind is so dependent on logic. I'm speaking to a doctor. I happen to love your kind of medicine. Yeah. The mind is so addicted to logic when the truth is most of our reality comes through feelings, intuitions, memories, conjured up stories, mythologies. But we disregard that for some reason. We are so attached to things being logical. And now at this moment in time, as we sit here, logic's out the window. So astrology is returning. It's an ancient tool that you can lean into because why? Every single day, we know the sun's coming up. We know what increments the moon. But they've always known this, literally, how to execute a chart and determine every single day the sun moves 1 degree around the sky. So we know on the day you were born, every year the sun moves to the same. It's very calculated. It's very consistent. It's very stable. What on this planet is stable? Oh, that's right. The Earth is, but the humans? So when you can depend on something that's reliable and astrology's passed the test of time and you give yourself the innocence of the mind, not the left brain, but the right brain saying, I am interested. That's when the entrance begins of, oh, my mind is getting clearer. Like I'm thinking of new thoughts. I'm falling in love with myself. I'm remembering my soul's mission. I have language to talk about why you're so quirky, why you get so excited. Mr. Double Fire Sign.
Double Fire Sign. We're going to go into that in a little, but I love what you said. We live in this world of logic. You know, we look at medicine and health only from the logistical magnifying glass. If there ain't a study, then I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it, right? But we don't have studies in the compounds that we breathe in when we go to the woods. We know some of them, but we don't know all of them. But we know they benefit us, right? We don't necessarily need studies to know that when we lay on the ground, Earth is grounding us and creating this beautiful, energetic polarity in our body and really just energizing our whole nervous system.
Healing us.
But we feel it. And you brought the very important word of feeling and that intuition. Everyone is built with it, but we're disconnected from it. So when you think about planets and stars, there's mathematical pieces to everything. Precision.
Yes, it's all based on astronomy.
It's all based on astronomy, which brings me to this next part. Let's talk about AG1. If you are a longtime listener, you know that I love AG1. I've been drinking it for about 2 years now. And I started drinking it because I wanted to find something to help boost my energy and keep me focused throughout the day. Now, when I started drinking AG1 daily, I could feel a real difference in my health, especially from the energy standpoint. I was getting more nutrition because of me running around and not making all the meals. Something convenient was getting into my body, and AG1 was fantastic. It is a foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization. We talk a lot about that on the show, stress management, and just overall immune support. They're all connected. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition continuously by refining their formula to create smarter, better ways to elevate your baseline health. So AG1 has been pivotal as far as a morning routine. I make it every morning, put in a little bit of water, open up the packet, mix it up, and I'm usually on the go. Now you know all this. I said it a few times. I hate taking millions of supplements. That's why I love AG1. I'm getting prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes for gut support, magnesium, B vitamins, for energy support, all those good adaptogens to balance my body's stress levels, help me be more resilient, vitamin C and zinc to help support my immune health. AG1 is a supplement I trust to provide the support that my body needs daily, which is why it's been a partner of mine for so long. I believe in the company. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1, get a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/heal-thyself. That's drinkag1.com/heal-thyself. Check it out. I am so in awe of ancient civilizations. I'm going to Egypt in a week. I'm going into the pyramids.
Well, this is where you're going to see astrology began there.
It began there. So can you tell me, we look in ancient civilizations and we tend to have the belief system that, no, we advance over time. Were ancient civilizations so deeply connected to astrology? Were they connected to the stars? Did they understand the universe much more than we do now?
How did they find Jesus? They followed the stars. And who knew which star to follow? The wise men. And what were the wise men? Students of the highest level, which brings us back to Egypt and astrology. So why is it what got disregarded? A better question is, where did it go? Like, what limits us from feeling, intuiting, knowing things? We have a deep remembrance. So many people on this planet read astrology, and it's kind of dippy. Like all your friends have, I'm not going to say the name, but there's all these different platforms are on the internet now. Real astrology has this ancient resource, as you're describing, by ancient cultures that has passed the test of time, but it got left behind. So my job is to rekindle it so I can look at your chart and go, oh my God, he's double fire. He's going to get so excited over nothing. He's like ready to go outside. He's speaking up. He's being blunt. He's honest. He's got this ego, kind of, but it's genuinely wanting to help us. So he can't turn it down. So I'm sure as a kid, your mom was like, is there a volume knob on this kid?
Oh my God, my dad literally says at dinner tables with people, I'm going to do the impression. My son, he's always talking. He never shut up. And I don't know what to do. I always look, hey, he got a volume button? That's exactly what he used to say.
Okay, so how did I do that? Because the chart is so dependable. Then what happened to your chart, which is unusual, is the moon, which moves very quick every month, it goes all the way around, was standing right next to Pluto. Very rare. Only lasts for a few hours. And it's in Libra, so you can't, it's in air, talk. It's the moon, your emotional body has to talk, and then you get intense, and you want harmony, and you want everyone to get along. And why can't people just be reasonable? And then you get all pissed off, but you're always trying to seek the balance for everybody. Am I right or am I right?
100%. I mean,
That's called moon in Libra. The emotional nature, moon rules the inner world up at night. It rules our waters of our emotional body, the tears, the feelings. And it's in Libra, the partner. You're just always seeking partnership. Who can I collaborate with? Who can I dance with?
Wow.
Who can I make sure they feel better about themselves? You're like a cheerleader.
Yeah, inherent healer. And this always brings back memories of, like, as a kid when I would see people out of balance or being bullied or anything, I'd step in and try to help.
You stand up for the underdog. Injustice is your worst thing.
Big time.
So isn't that funny? Now, here we are talking. I have never met you, even though we apparently spoke on Instagram a long time ago. And I know your character at the deepest level. You came in this life to seek balance and do it because it's in the house of professionalism. It's your career. to help people find balance and to do it with passion. You can't turn it down. You have no lukewarm.
I'm going to tell everyone this. This isn't like a reach where I'm just like, oh, yeah, I feel like you're right, kind of. And, like I'm trying to acclimate my answers to make you feel better. No, you are actually reading stuff about me that like, you don't know me like that. You know what I mean?
It's so trippy.
But it's really powerful. And you said something important, moon. And to think that we're not connected to the universe and planets and the movement of planets would be silly. We know that actually internally, our hormones even change with the moon as it moves. We know
Women's
that.
cycles every
Women's
month.
cycles with the moon as it moves. We know water changes. Water levels, they rise. The tide changes. So let's throw that out there if you don't think we're connected, all right? We're going to change this paradigm. Okay, we got a new sponsor on here, and it's Amra. When we connect with a new sponsor, I look at two things. Is there studies out there that makes it really good, incredible, and strong? And we're looking at if it's a quality supplement. Amra checks both boxes. They were kind enough to send me all the studies, and it was fantastic to see how powerful this product can be to our health. I'm always looking out for things that strengthen the immunity and the gut health. When it comes to those two facets of health, it expands to things like your better metabolism, better skin, better hair, better nails. When it comes to colostrum, a lot of us forget this is the first nutrition we receive in our life, and it contains all the essential nutrients that our body needs to thrive. Amra Colostrum is a proprietary concentrate of bovine colostrum that harnesses over 400 living bioactive nutrients that rebuilds the barriers of your body and fuels cellular health from a host of research-backed benefits. It strengthens immunity, ignites metabolism. It's an anti-inflammatory. It fortifies your gut health, activates hair growth, skin radiance, even fitness performance and recovery and anti-aging. It is one of those really hard, densely packed, amazing products out there that is going to give you so much of what your body needs, especially if you're nutrient deficient. So Amra Colostrum is premium bovine colostrum concentrate, and unlike any other on the market, it's wholly natural. It's fantastic because we're going into cold and flu season, and now we have something that is a big blanket, not only just for your immune system, but your overall health. So if you are looking to get your hands on some Amra, we worked out a very special offer for you, the Heal Thyself audience, to get 15% off of your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/DRG, enter the code DRG, and get 15% off of your first order. That's TRYARMRA.com/DRG. But how powerful actually is the moon in your specialty of what you see when it comes to just human health?
Such a great question. So it is definitely a variable in astrology. There's a medicine, people that work with astrology and medicine, and they specifically use the moon to talk about surgeries or timing when your body's more resilient. So there's a whole, I don't know much about it, but there's a whole school of ancient astrologers that worked with the body. What I can tell you as a therapist is the moon describes your emotional body. And the emotional realm is what's controlling us right now. We are out of whack. That's what anxiety and depression and fear and insomnia. All of that is the emotional body being disrupted. When you become conscious, and I have these videos that come out every day on my Instagram that tell you where the moon is, like what the mood is of the day, and you start going in sync with it, and you start letting, first of all, we have to address the left brain has to be put aside, and for a minute, to your point, you go, maybe there is something to this influence that occurs in the dark without my mind's understanding. Oh, that makes me feel so good that there's a higher level of consciousness or a magical flavor to Earth. That's what astrology gives. Then the next step is, what is my moon in? Everyone should be asking this question. How does my emotional body engage with other people? Am I impulsive? That's fire. Am I sensitive? That's water. Am I going to talk? That's air. That's you. Am I going to get practical and try to get reasonable? And you can immediately see your kid, your husband, your wife, and go, wow, this makes me so much more compassionate, because if I know you need to talk when you're upset, give it to me. But if you see me not talking, you go, you know what, take some time, I can see you're in your space. So we start to make room for the diversity of the inner world, which is driving everyone crazy. We have no wisdom emotionally. We're very limited. But that's what I teach. Emotional wisdom comes by falling in love with your nature and being able to relax into your own skin.
Of course, because then you can be compassionate about all of the times that you're regretting where you showed up like this certain way, right? If that's part of your nature, just by virtue of astrology, then you can relax into it, being like, okay, yeah, like I can come out with more compassion and heart. But yeah, in the past, the thing I regret, no, I'm actually fiery. Like, of course I showed up like that. Really, really beautiful to have a deeper understanding of self, but also a relationship with another, which is the beautiful part, because now we know how to interact, or our nature to interact with our partner,
And
with our
yes,
kids,
yes,
with our coworkers, right?
yes.
The sun, the sun. Okay. I know, I love the sun. I'd rather go to a sun
You're
circle
solar
than
powered.
a moon circle, right? Like sun is like,
Oh, really, Mr. Leo?
oh, I feel so invigorated, alive in the sun. And a lot of the work that I've been doing lately was around the importance of the sun on a genetic aspect, but not getting too much of it where it causes that inflammation in our body. But from the astrology standpoint, what does the sun do?
Everything. It's the life force. It's the personality. It's your ego. Like, raise your hand. Anybody here have an ego? Oh, look, everyone's raising their hand. So
My hand's
we
up.
all have one.
Yeah.
So until you get acquainted with that life force and how to manage it and what it's drawn to, because it's impulsive, the ego has no off button until your awareness turns on and you operate out of your soul. But other than that, what the problem on planet Earth is we have egos going wild right now.
100%.
And that's the sun. So the sun feeds the life force of the impulsive, instinctual nature. If you hit your knee, that's your ego. It's an immediate response of your personality. So you get super excited and you need attention and you need to show up and you need to make things happen and you're all fired up and there's other people who are water that go, uh-oh, he's scaring me.
I see.
Where's the volume knob? And they wish you would tone it down. And that's the distinction. And we all come with an ego. And the sooner you turn your awareness on, which is called astrology, and you start noticing what it naturally does, you become masterful by following your own natural rhythm and stop judging yourself. Because I imagine for you, you can take over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel bad, but you're supposed to take over.
Right.
Your function in this life is to be a bit brighter, a bit louder, a bit more excited, and get us riled up to make a difference.
Like a cheerleader.
You are.
Like you said. So the sun, moon play pivotal roles.
And they're in dance together.
Right, of course.
Sun
They're
and moon.
moving around together.
They love each other. And during a full moon, I keep hitting the microphone. During a full moon, they're opposite. No one ever knows that. So if you know it's a full moon, you can just look at the full moon and know the sun is exactly in the opposite position in the constellation. And during a new moon, they hug each other. And this is really a deep, dark sky when you're outside and there's no light.
I know that sky.
That's called a new moon, and that's when you go in. In the old days, we would never, in the ancient tribes, we'd all be quiet.
Right.
Because you could see nothing.
We had no street
electricity.
lights. I see.
So during a new moon, go in and do your prayers and reflect. And during a full moon, go have a party because the whole world's lit up. And that's why we go wild and howl and dance and sing. So this is simple astrology. Everyone talks about Mercury retrograde, which bugs me because it's so dippy, but it's real. Happens 3 times a year. The planet is literally going backwards. So it looks like, when 2 trains are going together on the subway and one looks like it's going backwards, that's what retrograde means. It just means that we're going at the same speed as Mercury and now it's going backwards. And when that happens, yes, there's an increase of computer breakdown. There's an increase of flights being missed. There's an increase of miscommunication. It's real. And I used for years, I kind of have what you have. Your Mercury, the way your mind works, is very earthy. It's in Virgo. So it's very clean. Your mind is like detailed memories, organized, and can't understand people that aren't on time and aren't respectful. You're like,
That's
bugging
funny.
me. And I also have Mercury and Earth. And so that placement, Mercury, there's 3 ingredients. There's the sun is your ego. There's the moon, which is your emotional inner world, the human nature component that makes us cry. And then there's Mercury that tells us how we think.
Oh, that's a logic-based part.
Exactly. And yours is in the deepest, strongest placement of organizing the mind and memorizing things without effort.
Oh, I've always had the best memory.
Thank you.
Growing up, always the best. And actually, even today, I just the other day, I brought back a memory from so long, and they're like, How do you remember that? Even today, we were
I
talking, and
know.
you're like, how do you remember
That's
we
your
talked
Mercury
already?
in Virgo. So this is the language that we don't have yet. But if I say to you, you have Mercury in Virgo, and this is your intellect, it's got this great ability to ask questions, and you're thinking linear, logical, and you're a doctor, and you want to help us,
Right.
it would not be a surprise. I would look at this kid's chart when you were little and say to your mom and dad, he's loud, he's a little wild, but he's got a really good mind.
Powerful
And
stuff.
what a gift to give to parents.
Mm.
It's one of my favorite things is endorsing children. And we have someone on my team. I have 20, I don't do readings anymore, but I have 24 trained certified astrologers. And one of them specializes in children, some specialize in relationships, some specialize in understanding your esoteric self. There's a whole range, but I have had the best job this whole life.
This is this is interesting because I know a lot of people that go, oh, well, I'm a Leo and I do not want to be with an Aquarius or something like that. Are we selling ourselves short by just having, when we're too much in that space?
Absolutely. First of all, Cupid has no eyesight. She just hits arrows and you fall in love. You don't, and she does not know astrology. So she's not looking at your charts. When people get together, that's karma. Now you have free will, but that chemistry game where all of a sudden it hits the
Yes.
ding, 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 that you can't ask what their sign is and walk away. You can't.
Right.
At that moment, you've been intoxicated.
Yeah.
What the question though is once you get into a relationship, this is really important. How do I let you, if I know your moon's in Libra and you need to talk when you're upset, and I say to you, stop talking. The worst thing I could do to you. My moon's in Aries. If you tell me to tone it down when I'm upset, don't get so angry. I'm like, oh, right, really? That just sets me up. So you learn how to speak to your partner and make room for their quirky little personality.
I see. Which inevitably they're going to display some of that just by
There's
virtue
no
of
way
what's
to
written in the
change it.
stars, right? So what I'm hearing is that it's a deeper way to understand how to navigate communication and partnership, or have an eye out for, oh, this is how they show up. Okay, this makes sense. It's different than I do,
Exactly.
but I can meet them in the middle. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, when it comes to therapy, it is so important at bringing awareness to what is going on, the things that we're not speaking about and the things that we are fully disconnected from. It is the very practice that opens up the closet door and lets out everything. You ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? You know, oftentimes we are running with stories that we're conditioned with that aren't necessarily true, but we're still utilizing as our operating system. That happens, right? And you know sometimes what you should do or what's good for you, but sometimes you're kind of stuck and you can't do it. This is where it comes in. It opens up that closet door, everything comes out, and you get to see yourself again from a new light. It's always helpful for learning positive coping skills. How are you going to express your needs, wants, and desires? And how are you setting boundaries? A lot of us are so disconnected for how do we communicate our boundaries, whether it's in relationship or at work or anything of the sort. When we are not seeing what is inside of that closet door, we are fully disconnected. So therapy empowers you to be your best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. We know that. If you think about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Make your brain, your health, your mental connection your best friend. And you do it with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/DRG. You get 10% off of your first order. Visit betterhelp.com/DRG today and you get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DRG. Thank you, Birch, for sponsoring today's video. Birch makes mattresses that are crafted with organic and natural materials that have been sustainably sourced. The Birch Natural Mattress was also awarded the best mattress of 2023 by the U.S. News. Out of over 340 mattresses and hours of in-person expert testing, it is the best one out there. The mattresses are also free from polyurethane foams. This is something that you find in a lot of these mattresses, especially those Tempur-Pedics. But Birch mattresses are free of this harmful fiberglass. In fact, Birch owns its own manufacturing facility, which means it's entirely free from products containing fiberglass. It's all of the chemicals that we really need to be paying attention to when it comes to our beds. For me, I sleep easy knowing that the Birch mattress has two of the biggest certifications that you need to look for in a bed. GOTS, G-O-T-S, and GreenGuard Gold certified. This means they're free from those polyurethane-based foams and harsh, unnecessary chemicals and pollutants, but also just overall hundreds and hundreds of other chemicals. So you can sleep in a mattress knowing that you're not being exposed to any of that crap. I love my Birch mattress. I've had it for 2.5 years so far. With your Birch mattress, you can get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 25-year warranty. The best thing about Birch is it delivers your mattress right to your door, free within the United States. They also offer in-home setup and removal to make your buying experience as convenient as possible. The bed comes rolled up in a box, super easy to set up. Each Birch mattress comes with 2 of their EcoRest pillows made from recycled materials. They're breathable and better for the environment. And don't forget, for your little ones, we got the Birch Kids Natural Mattress line that is out right now, which is a 2023 Good Housekeeping Parenting Awards winner. I love my Birch mattress. I know you're gonna too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Birch Living. Go to birchliving.com/heal-thyself to get 20% off a Birch mattress plus 2 free EcoRest pillows.
And in my business, the people I hire, I look at every single employee I have.
do.
And I've memorized all their charts. There's 50 women. There's 30 trained. I have a school. Twice a year, people come to the school, and Blue just did it. It's 6 weeks long. You would love it. It's online, just once a week, and they're studying your chart. There's only 10 people in the room. So you're looking at your chart every week, and you're learning one bite piece at a time. And by the time you finish 6 weeks, you're like, my life lesson gets addressed, what my shadow is, because that's one of the things about your chart. You love going underneath people and getting to their darker side and finding out the secrets.
Yeah, that's my work.
Exactly. That's in your chart.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we look at in the chart, and we describe it. And by the time they finish just level 1, it's so much fun to watch. I get all these gifts in the mail. Their husbands call me and say, my wife's back.
I love that.
Because it just gives you permission. And we don't speak this language. And to your point, when we started, people don't know that astrology is medicine.
To hear that, right? Because it is a language of understanding that we have not yet put into the prioritization of relationships and relationship to ourselves. But very easily, we can put together our nature and go, all right, if I have a son and I understand the whole chart of my son, now I know how to navigate when he's really mad or really sad or purposeful. What can I cultivate and go, hey, son, this is like.
You mean like when my
yes.
kid came home and said the teachers all put him in a room and he got in trouble because came home so scared, Mom, they all put me in a room and I got in trouble because I hit the bully. I said, you're a double Aries. I expected you to hit the bully. He was like, I'm not in trouble. I was like, of course you're not in trouble. Someone in that room couldn't stand that kid for 6 months now.
Right.
And a double Aries, a double fire sign kind of like you, finally can't hold back anymore. Of course. And then he was, thanks, Mom.
Wow. So deeper understanding. So this is beautiful. And again, feel into how you feel about this, right? There's a lot of people viewing, listening, they go, I never heard about this. I actually thought it was just like someone saying, I'm an Aries and I'm a Scorpio, and there was nothing to it. But now we're learning that there actually is more to it. There's deeper in connection. There's deeper in the value of understanding people. Again, I'm always like entrenched with like how ancient civilizations really worked up to this. Would you say that a lot of these ancient civilizations, they dictated so much of their work and their livelihood based on the stars?
You know, the Mayan culture was completely based on the most sophisticated calendar you've ever seen.
Whoa.
I don't know if you know that. The Mayan calendar, which I've studied at length, is one of the richest resources of understanding that they knew the interfacing, to your point about the ETs. We can't remember where we came from, who wrote astrology, what the nature of reality is. We're all in this dark mystery. It kind of bugs me because I know there's a mystery that could be unveiled if we could just get to the original writers of these ancient civilizations that were so much more advanced than us in the name of the indigenous. I live in Hawaii, so I spend every winter barefoot and I walk on the land, and I really have a relationship with the chanting and the music and really keeping myself in those woods and in those jungles. There's so many people that have lost that connection. So to your point, every civilization of old, including the Hawaiians, their whole system was navigating by the planets, the stars, the moon. Every Hawaiian fisherman knows all the moon cycles.
Whoa.
By words, because in old cultures, we didn't have electricity. So your answer is yes. The question I can't figure out is, as we've evolved, we left behind one of the richest, deepest wisdom chambers called understanding the moon and being able to go into sync with the higher levels of consciousness, which I do. This is my secret that came out on Blue's podcast. I do believe ETs are watching us. I don't think we're here by ourselves. I do think there's a higher intelligence, and we are in a critical, awful moment where the planet is having a hot spot. The acupuncture point just got popped in Israel. If you think about the planet Earth and you were a healer, you'd see that spot. There's always so much energy, hot space coming off that spot. It's not a surprise that it just escalated. Now the question is, do I have enough wisdom to recognize that we're being watched, we're being held? And yes, this planet's filled with the conspiracy theorists, and there's a whole bunch of conversations, but at the highest level, said the astrologer, the sun's coming up tomorrow, the moon moves in perfect increments. I can look at your chart and describe your destiny. That means there's a higher intelligence. So good news. Bad news is the human has got such a limited operating system. I wish so much I could remember the ancient wisdom because I know I was there.
Yeah.
I wish so much that I could see the future and be able to remember how good this will be at the end. But right now, Mom is giving a big, loud noise called, I'm hurting, you're abusing me, you're violating my own ability to stay balanced. And so I have to shake you off. And so we have to just do our prayers to be wise enough to have faith in a time when the mind's going, did she talk about astrology on that podcast?
Right.
What was that?
Right. And have faith and fall into the body, feel into the heart. What is true for you? If we move away from the head, our conditioning, the programming, the things that we value as, that's true, but is it true for you? Right? Maybe it was true for your parents. Maybe it was true for the school you went through, maybe for your friends, maybe even for your partner. But is it true for you? Ultimately, when you really listen to that last 60 seconds you just said, if you listen to your heart, feel it, and most likely you're going to feel a little something. And I feel it all because I know what you're saying from a macro level. We can all go into the micro level and look at logistics. We can say this versus that versus this, but let's take a macro level. That hot spot, as you say, that acupuncture point, Earth is just mimicking what happens internally within us. We have this turmoil in us. We have disconnect of ourselves, living in survival mode, not knowing how to thrive with each other, not working cohesively. We're suffering with disease. The macro is just mimicking what's happening internally. And on the bigger scale, you're talking about universe, stars, other life forms. I mean, like we're getting this wisdom. And if we listen, right, we can definitely make some massive changes, but we don't want to listen right now. Maybe we got messages in the past. We don't want to listen. But,
until the crisis happens,
until the
health,
crisis,
that's where
exactly.
you come in and I come in. When the crisis happens, when it's so uncomfortable, when you're so sad and you're so bored and you're feeling so lethargic, that's when you ask for help. So I really want to say that out loud because one of the big tricks that I've learned is praying really works. And the other thing is not aging. Like I am moving towards 70. You would never believe that.
I couldn't believe it when you told me.
And my energetics, my ability to go every single day in the ocean and every single day, I'm outside barefoot. But I've made a commitment this life that I want to be an example of the next generation. What will it look like if we do what you're asking us to do? Stay healthy, stay balanced, stay awake, fall in love, be nice. What would this planet be like?
Yeah.
So I'm in the future.
I love that. And that is part of your secret, the connection to nature, huh?
100, every single day. That's the 4 elements. All my life's work is the water, like drinking clean water, being conscious. I pray over my food every time, keeping a holiness, a sacredness to this existence. How dare we take advantage and complain? When I catch myself complaining because I have, my upbringing was Jewish and I grew up in a family where they all went like this, oi. I mean, I grew up with this, all the, oi, and it became contagious.
Yeah.
And I had a boyfriend call me out and he was like, what's with the oi? Like, why are you complaining? I was like, oh, I had absorbed it. And then I woke up and I realized I watched them all age and they got a little grumpier. I mean, they're sweet as pie, the heart, but the presentation. And then I thought, this is not happening to me. And it's a conscious decision. Everyone listening to this has to make this decision. Do you want to be here? Like, do you remember you signed up for this?
Right.
Because your chart came with such a strong mission, you particularly, that you said, and you got so excited. You were like, I'm going to go down and I'm going to help all these people and I'm going to have all this energy and I'm going to be really handsome. I'm going to tickle people and they're all going to like me. I can't wait to go, woohoo.
Yeah.
But that's not true of everybody else. They're like, I didn't get that.
Right.
Now, what do we do when you realize that your storyline is a little bit uncomfortable? Oh, you take the advice from Dr. G. You turn on the Instagram, you watch all these different podcasts, and suddenly you're like, there's another way to be.
Right.
And that's the entrance and the humbleness and the innocence of every mind that says, does she say astrology? Just be open. Just say for a minute, maybe I'll go try.
Yeah, exactly. And lean into it.
And if we are good examples, you and I both have a lot of fire and we're all enthusiastic and you want to have some of that wherever you are, the trick is start with the prayer. Start with as simple as this, I need help. The planet, if everyone on the planet started to pray and ask for help, and you're the ambassador of peace. One of the things about your chart is you really do want to bring the balance to people. Isn't that one of your biggest?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
It's right here in your chart. When you were born on the top of the sky, I'm going to show it to you, but you really can't see it yet because you don't understand language. The moon, you were born with the moon when your mom was giving birth, right above her head, literally up directly above her head was the moon and Pluto in Libra in the house of fame. That means your emotional gift of being peaceful and being balanced and handsome and cute, plus the intensity you carried, was going to be an example for all of us.
It was already written.
Aesthetic, beauty, like you look at the girls and they have to look a certain way, you get crazy because you're so picky.
That's true. How do you know this?
How do I know this?
This is kind of crazy.
I'm looking right at the chart. It's not a big science.
It's not a big science.
Well, it is kind of.
Yeah.
It does take a little while to learn. You also have 2 planets in Scorpio, so you're very focused. It's confusing to you when people are dippy and they aren't doing a good job. You're like, can we go?
Yeah, it makes sometimes difficulty in teams because I expect so much, like.
That's because you're an example. So that's us. But there's all these people listening today, and they want to feel their hearts. To your point, how do they get their minds to be quiet and get back into nature and feel this element? So drinking water consciously, taking a deep breath. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
And hold it at the top. And then breathe out calm. Just feel your whole nervous system just relaxed. All it takes is a breath. That's air. To pause and take a deep breath means that you're awake. Because we do it without ever thinking from the minute you get here to the minute you go. But when you put your awareness on it, and then earth is stop complaining about having to go to work and dealing with money and cleaning up and feeding the kids and picking them up. That's the earth element is how can I worship this physical plane because I'm only here for a few minutes. And this place is so unbelievable. Yesterday, I went to Hollywood Boulevard, and there was like this unbelievable amount of lights everywhere. I just got myself so entertained.
Right. You can't not.
I mean, I thought, and all those stars on the ground, I thought, look at this, a town that has stars on the ground. Said the astrologer. There's all down Hollywood Boulevard. There were stars on the ground.
That's beautiful. And earth, fire. What about the fire?
Fire. So fire is the passion of this life. Is getting excited. Is having an orgasm. Is drinking too much. Is going on plant medicine. Like altering your reality and going. Woo, woo, woo. It's like wake up. Why do people drink and get high? Because they're trying to change their point of view. They're trying to have a moment out of this reality where it's a little less static and they're kind of. And then come back and remember what happened there. I get nervous with everyone doing in your generation plant medicine, and they're all getting high and they're microdosing. And I'm like, do you retain wisdom from that place? Or is it just an entertainment unit? Because the point of this exercise for everybody here is you have to evolve and learn. And my young, innocent self, who isn't as old as I am, but the part of me that's really young and innocent, I'm constantly, like today, how did I find you? I don't even know how this happened. I'm always in awe. This is a flavor to add, if you can find this, you guys. This is a great flavor. Can I be innocent enough to realize that my reality is a misconstructed idea? We get stuck in ideas that astrology is stupid, or that we can't be open-minded, we can't cry, or there's all these crazy. Challenge your thoughts.
Right. And that's what I'm challenging everyone to lean into. If you listen to your heart, most likely if you listen from your heart, it's going to receive something on this podcast. And this is why I wanted to do this, is to challenge. The paradigm ain't working.
Exactly.
The medical paradigm is not working. The way we relate to ourselves and others isn't working. Our connection to our own bodies isn't working. Our own emotions. Ain't nothing working. You know what I mean? And I come from like the medical, no. So my place as a seeker and learning and presenting and holding the space for people to learn themselves is to challenge
Let
and
the thought be innocent.
let the
Ask
thought
the
be innocent.
questions.
Ask the
Is it
question.
really true? Am I really captured by this? Those of you that are water, they're so emotional, they get depressed. People that have a lot of water in their chart, they don't look like us. They're sitting at home, they're on the computer again. They're probably having a little bit of something over there and they're trying to escape how much it hurts here. The high road of water is wait a minute. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to create a spiritual practice, soft music, incense burning, soft lights. My atmosphere is so I can self-soothe myself. The air people, they get confused. They can't make decisions. They can't get committed. They can't do relationships. They keep reading. They keep listening to podcasts. They don't remember a thing.
Right.
They forget where they're going in their airheads. That's the low road. The high road is like you were really displaying it with your moon in Libra, to articulate and use words to be a bridge to the other, to ask the questions that are so interesting, to keep the dialogue so open-minded that you're open to listening to people you don't even agree with. I watch the news on both sides every day. I watch the politics that are both Republicans and Democrats. I watch what's going on in Palestine. I am totally letting my mind be curious enough to know I don't know. That's the high road of air. The low road is I'm so confused.
Right.
I can't believe I'm reading on blah. So you can feel the difference. The low road of earth people, they're so materialistic and they never feel like they're doing enough. And they never feel like they're good enough. And no matter how much they do, they feel like I didn't really do a very good job. You have a little bit of this. It's a critic. So they have these high standards. The ones that don't live up to their high standards suffer. And they feel like they're not really that pretty, and if they gained weight and they have all this criticism. The high road of earth is I'm in love with this place and I'm doing everything that's asked of me, from my supplements to my organic food to organizing the house to making little lists. And I love to go to work and I'm not complaining. That's the high road of an earth person. I'm responsible because I like working, not because, that's the
Right.
low road. The low road of fire, super energetic, a little bit too high, a little bit spending too much money, a little bit too LA, driving around in big cars, making themselves ego-centered, pretending they've got an image, but secretly feeling really insecure. You can't tell by looking because they're always fluffed up with they wear hats and they wear makeup and they're dancing and you're like, whoa, and they're so fun and they're so loud and they're having another, and that's the low road. The high road is inspiration. Like we're doing right now. I'm going to give you my enthusiasm and I'm so contagious. You will want to sit next to me because I'm going to have fun with you. This is what they have with Blue and I. We're going to have fun wherever we go because we're always taking the energy up, not because of the ego, but because we came here this lifetime to show you it's okay to be a little loud and wild.
Ooh, okay.
So then the self-esteem feels better. The fire person's no longer self-conscious that, why am I always the one? No, that's why I said to you, you're double fire. You came in this life to be a role model for us to turn up the volume.
To turn up the volume, man.
No self-consciousness anymore.
I love that because I actually, when you talked about the fire, I actually started resonating with that one the most, forgetting that I have fire in my
Double fire. Your
double
soul
fire.
and your sun sign is your ego. The moon you asked about is your inner emotional world. And the rising sign based on your birth time is called the rising sign because it's your soul. It's your higher self. It's also called the ascendant. And your sun, your ego, and your soul are fire. Your rising sign is Sag. So yeah, so it's not just your ego, your personality's fire, but your soul is too, which really complements it, makes you like super silly.
Super silly. Yeah, hey, man, that's true. But I love how you organize that because everyone who's listening, even if they believe in astrology or not, can at least relate to the low road and high road of whatever predominant sign is there for them.
And if you don't understand any of this, there's a book I wrote called The Missing Element that has no astrology in it. It's just the 4 elements. And you take a little test in the middle of the book. I was going to bring it for you. And then you figure out, which we already know, what's your missing element. Because if there's 4 wheels in a car and one element's out, the whole system breaks.
Oh, I see.
And that's what the book's about.
I really resonated with that high and low road because I can feel people hearing that and going, oh, wait a minute, I do that, like I wonder if I'm on the low road, and like you can change it. And you said choice, decision.
That's everything.
Choice, decision.
Everything. That's the point you're here. You're choosing to be here. Let's do it again. Remember, everyone listening, this lifetime, you did not get pushed in the bus. You volunteered for this position. You knew this was coming. We knew we would get to this critical moment where it was going to be really scary. And there's those of us that have great faith. Don't worry. I can see the future. It's 60 miles east of here, and it's really beautiful. However, there's a lot of people that can't see the future, and they're in terror. So you have to remind yourself, wait, I chose this. I totally wanted to be here. This was my promise. And then the famous question I hear every day as an astrologer, what am I supposed to be doing here? I don't know what my purpose is. Right. Everyone says that to the astrologer. Your purpose is breathing. Let's start there. And breathing with consciousness. Once you start becoming awake and aware, and I see it in you so strong, then you make choices based on what you watched in the podcast with Dr. G. Oh, I'm going to take care of myself. Oh, I just got inspired. Keep doing the research, you guys. It took me years to figure out what exactly makes my body happy. Because when you get towards this age, everyone I know, don't tell them, all my friends, they have so many things.
Aches and pains.
And I've really been deliberate this life to say, what will it take for me, to your point, to listen to my heart and stay in joy? Because that's what keeps the system working.
Yes, that's it. The joy. Look, this is what I've been actually writing so much about in the mountains lately is the vibration of joy and the signal that it gives to the cells for the cells to allow itself with a new blueprint and information to turn on and off genes for healing. So you say joy, but for me, joy is the most important embodiment for your physical, mental, and emotional health by far.
Can I tell you why?
Why?
Your rising sign, your soul, is Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the most joyful sign in the zodiac. They live to be happy. They are, when I do C-sections for moms, when they call me and say, I always tell the mom to have a baby born with Sag at the time of birth that will make them Sag rising, because it's the best rising sign you can get, because your soul came happy. All you talk about is joy. So you're talking about it, you're writing about it, you look at your little face. So it's all in an attempt, your soul said, this is every sage is a Sag. I made that up. Because what does the sages all do? They all know about laughing.
That's
right. The Dalai Lama laughs. The Mother Teresa laughs like the humor system. And boy, does Blue laugh.
I was about to say, shout out to Blue because she's been on the show before.
Oh my God, she makes me laugh.
Talking about the gene keys. Is she Sag rising?
Yes.
Oh, this is what we have in common.
I'm trying to tell you.
Because we're so goofy and always laughing.
Hello?
I see.
Is anybody listening?
I'm listening. Okay, I got it.
Checking.
I'm receiving.
You both have the same soul's purpose.
I see. That's why she talks about such deep, powerful stuff. And then she has the essence of just goofy and fun.
You should see her and I together.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to.
That is so crazy.
Cool.
We were in the car driving. We were in Austin, and I was honking the horn, and the music was blaring, and we parked the car. She looked at me. She goes, not everybody really keeps up with me.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
I was like, listen, honey, you sing, you want to dance, you want to be loud, you want to be weird.
That's right.
And that's youthfulness. Back to joy. That's Sagittarius wisdom. So for those people that are watching this that are getting depressed, because there's a really good reason to be depressed right now. I don't think you are alive if you're not anxious, depressed, feeling some kind of physical ailment, feeling lonely, feeling separate. That is the nature of our reality. But here's the news about Sag. All you got to do is turn on Dr. G's podcast, and all of a sudden you're feeling better. And that's what you are here to give us. That's one of your functions.
I love this. And as a Leo, I love hearing about myself.
Well, no, it's okay, because you're a role model for us. Every Leo loves hearing.
Isn't that funny? But how do people get, okay, so like, let's say there's people viewing and listening, they go, okay, my heart's open. I kind of feel this. This is kind of cool. How do they step into learning more? What resources, aside from your wonderful Instagram that we're going to talk about in a minute, but how do we begin to lean into
I think prayer, the first step is genuinely saying, like, every time my body gets bad or something happens, and sometimes it takes longer than others, I really do a sincere prayer. Help me. So if you're interested in waking up and increasing your purpose on being on Earth, which is why else would you come? This is not a fun planet for me. I don't have Sag rising. So I find this place very painful. It hurts me. Mm-hmm. I cry a lot. Mm-hmm. You can't tell by looking. And I spent a lot of time in my life being depressed until I realized there was a choice. And I had some practices to do. But it all begins, my whole thing begins every day. Help me. How can I be of service? And my first prayer is, how can I be of service? Who can I play with today to serve? That was my first one. Yeah. And then I learned to ask for myself, like, what does this body need? Who can help me? I have found the best healers my whole life with that prayer.
Wow.
Bring me a really good healer to help me this. I just had gum problems because I'm old, and I never had that before. And then I just put it out, and the next thing you know, someone sent me Chinese herbs that were for gums, and the next thing I knew, my intuition said, go to a holistic dentist, and then all of a sudden, the whole thing was healed. But it took me putting out loud, which is embarrassing. I have something going on,
Mhm.
and then I said, please help me, and the next thing I knew, I found exactly who I needed.
Yeah, that's the alignment, right? Like
Yes.
what you seek is seeking you. And when we move away that sort of timeline of like, oh, I have to do this, this, and this, and this, my logic to get this, and instead go, no, it's already seeking me. It's here. That move, that surrender piece, you find it, and it's such an easier flow of life. My God, like, to surrender to, yeah, you're
Well, you have to
taken
have
care of.
faith that
Faith,
that's actually happening. So there's a
right?
lot of people watching this that think we're so special. But they have to there has to be an alteration in the brain that says, I am being watched
Mm,
and I am loved. And spirit is what there's angels. There's a guardian angel that every single human on this planet has. And they're devoted to you. And they
mm.
spend their whole time watching you. Isn't that crazy? How can you be lonely when you know there's like, don't look right now because you can't see them with your eyes. But there's spirits in this room.
Yeah. No, I can feel. I always feel. This
I
is
see
since I
that.
was
I see.
since I was a
Does
kid.
your hat say sex?
Socks, white socks. But I mean, I just did a sex podcast before this,
Okay,
so
but can you just tilt your head down? It does not say socks.
it
Someone
says
needs to.
definitely says
Okay, you
SO.
need someone to help you. It
You call
says.
the White Sox marketing department, and then we'll
Okay,
figure
well,
that
I
one
just
out.
want you to know that you have Saturn in Scorpio. Your life lesson is all about sexuality. Can we just go there?
We're gonna go there because I just did
Like
a
right where I was
former,
sitting, some girl was here.
well, a sex podcast.
A sex podcast.
Yeah, we had a whole all
Love this.
about it.
It's on your hat.
It's right. Well, as a no, but yes, but it is on my hat. It definitely is on my hat. But I would love to learn more about that actually.
Well, that's in your chart.
I want to unravel that chart after this very important piece that I want to talk about.
Please.
Now because it keeps coming up. We have, you say, we come to this world and we choose and we're here and we have
But you
our
don't
life.
remember a thing.
We don't remember a thing. Right?
Amnesia.
It's all amnesia, right? And it's a remembrance process through life. But then there's people who are viewing, listening, go, okay, well, how did I choose living in poverty or an abusive household or war-torn countries? Why does that make sense? How would you even answer that?
I'm doing it again because that's all left brain. Nothing is what it seems. We have these left brains that want to make logic. There is no logic for someone who doesn't get to live that lives in a war place. There's no logic for rape. This whole thing's crazy pants. So let's just name that. This reality is not logical. Somebody got to write that down.
Right.
The better question is, now that I've surrendered to that truth, what's the medicine to give me faith again, to have me hopeful? How do I rekindle the part of me that says, I have a dear friend in my book who spent 27 years in San Quentin. I just had dinner with him. I helped him get out of prison. And when I met him, I realized by looking at his eyes, this guy had some kind of special joy that never changed. And I went to San Quentin, I saw him again and again and again, and then finally I got him out. After 27 years, I filmed the day that he touched the grass and said, I haven't touched this in a long time. Wow. He's now been out. He got out the day, ready, black man, got out the day Obama received his first original nomination. On the screen, and at the bottom of the screen, it said, on this day 45 years earlier, Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. That was the day Kenny got out. There's Obama receiving his nomination. There's this little film going, and Kenny walks out having himself all like gray sweatshirts, and he has taken his life into the most beautiful place. Found a woman that he loved, became part of her family. What happened? He was in prison. Everyone can say this about their left brain, so confused. But he never gave up hope, ever, that he would get out one day. And his dream came true. So I want to just say to everyone, the mindset is the variable. This place is confusing. I can't answer you. When someone's poor and they live in a war-trodden country and they can't get out, it's so crazy what they can do, though, just as he did. Between your ears, you can liberate yourself.
Wow.
It's the truth. I watched him do it.
Yeah.
My favorite part was at the end of the story. We were driving around LA because he lives in LA now. And I was listening to chanting music. And he said, what is this music? And I said, well, they just do the same song over and over again. He was like, I've never heard this. And then he said, oh, you mean when I would put the Kleenex in my ear and I'd listen to myself breathe? I said, Kenny, That's called meditating, and that's just what the music's doing. But he didn't know because he was an old soul, is an old soul, who knew how to reclaim his commitment to being here no matter what the circumstance. And boy, did I learn from him.
I love that.
One of
I
my
love
favorite
that.
teachers.
Yeah, so beautiful because you're right. We want to put logic on everything. We want to name everything. We want to understand everything, and the ego is desperate to do it in its own
Bingo.
comfort, right? To feel it's safe in itself. So if I understand X, I know myself as Y. But the truth is, you're
The
right.
soul is silent,
The soul is silent.
and the soul has such deep faith. The sun's coming up.
Yeah.
And has such a relationship with those woods and the trees and the ground. It doesn't have words, but so much comfort. So put your attention on your heart and your soul, or let your ego run the show. You tell me how that's going for you.
Right. And that's a beautiful answer to something that is a very difficult question and unanswerable in many ways, but it's really, really, it's nourishing to the system to
Thank
actually
you
hear
for
that
asking.
perspective.
It's a very profound dilemma for all people with Moon in Libra and Mercury in Virgo because they think so much. How to find comfort beyond logic.
Right. Comfort beyond logic. So I kind of want to get to like the fun part now, I guess. You got
That
some.
was
You
your
got
hat with that said sex. Wasn't that
sex.
fun?
Yeah,
No.
that was the fun part.
Socks, okay.
The back and forth was fun, but I would love to know just. Listen, we're gonna do the unveiling. Listen, you're gonna hear on this podcast right now, Dr. G's deepest, darkest secrets in the form of the language
Well,
of
that's
astrology.
funny you should say because you're a secret keeper.
Okay, I'm a secret keeper. All
That's
right.
the truth. That there's a deep part. Your life lesson, Saturn is in Scorpio in the 10th house. Well, first of all, it's a healer. It's a doctor. Saturn in Scorpio in the 10th house is someone that, because the 10th house is your career. Again, it's the very top of the sky. Where the moon was, I said, was above your mom. So was Saturn. I always feel like I'm talking to myself when I talk about planets because no one knows what I'm talking about. But it's fun. So Saturn is sitting in the 10th house. It's a function of your purpose here to be very disciplined, very driven, have very clear intentions. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, which rules healing and sexuality and psychology and depth. So you came in this life promising that you would have this very high level desire to heal us and to be an example of intensity. So why is it sex, you should ask? Why is it sex? Because that's where the most deepest intimacy occurs. That's where the raw animal shows up. That's where we're so vulnerable.
Right.
It's so bizarre. We close our eyes, we turn off the lights, and we make really weird noises. You don't know, is it a good noise? Is it a bad noise? Are they hurting each other? Are they having, it's like the weirdest thing we do. We all act like it's normal, but no one talks about it. Shh. It's a secret world. And you have a very rich understanding of the world that has no words, where intensity lives, and where people get healed. This is true of Blue, who has 4 planets in Scorpio. It's a very strong appetite to speak to the unspeakable, to deal with depth, to be intimate with or without sex, that's just a word,
Right.
and to not let people off the hook when it comes to their shadow. Like, let's talk about what you're scared about.
Yeah.
That's your gift.
Yeah. Do you know what I do for work? I do emotional healing. So I basically open up the space for either one-on-ones or massive groups for people to have full-blown exorcisms, like deep emotional expression.
Why does that not surprise me?
Right. And like this is so powerful and easy for me. Like
You're built for the job.
I'm built for the job. And like life circle, I didn't start off like that, but life has led me there. And it was a series of listening to my intuition, each step that changed and detoured and rebalanced where I'm going, that led me to this space that I actually feel
You're a
most
very,
on purpose.
very good listener. That's one of your superpowers. I'm watching you. And the ability to do a podcast, by the way, we're going on for a long time. I'm usually done right on time.
Right.
But I'm noticing that your capacity to receive and to hear and to listen, no wonder everybody likes listening to you.
I see. Okay.
It's Scorpio. It's the intense desire for intimate, honest, deep, speak to the unspeakable and talk about what really matters, which is our emotional bodies are, can I say it, retarded. I know you're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But as a species, we're emotionally
We are.
very immature.
And this is why I'm doing the work. It's like, hey, everyone.
And I think I'm really immature.
No, I think you're just
I'm
youthful
I
and
see
energetic.
myself emotionally. That was funny. That was supposed to make you laugh. I think I'm aware that as I age, it's difficult for me to be emotionally authentic and really stay real. And so that's what I mean. I'm learning more and more, like letting myself cry and letting myself get angry and letting myself really suffer, like not toning it down. And because I can really be air, which is dippy.
Yeah.
And I've really called myself out in the name of authenticity. And I know that I'm just growing.
In the name of authenticity. That is right up my alley, the authenticity piece. I like to know about love, relationships.
Well, I was going to ask you the same thing. I was thinking about you in love. Like you are such a hopeless romantic. You have such a deep need for true love. Are you in relationship?
No, but you want to know what I did last week? Came to terms that I am a hopeless romantic, because that's how I started my like partnerships and loverships. My first girlfriend, second girlfriend, I was so open-hearted, so romantic. I was like, wow, who am I? And then the man gets hurt and the heart closes. So for the better part of my adult life, it's been closed. And the work that I did literally last week was to have full acceptance that I actually am not all the things that I believe myself to be, and crack open my heart and go, yeah, no, I am a hopeless romantic. And I actually want love, and I want to be in a relationship, and I want children.
2014, what happened?
2014, I'll tell you right now, 2014, I had a girlfriend. I know who it is. And we broke up.
Exactly.
In 2014.
That was a really significant relationship.
That was my longest relationship
Yeah,
I've
that
ever
was a
had.
really significant relationship, and that was the turning point where your heart got shielded. So now you're learning to open, and the cycle's already passed. You're in a new cycle.
Wow. You said 2014?
Did I say 20?
How did you know that?
Because it's Astrology 101. It's called Saturn Return.
It's
Hello.
literally when we broke up, me and my longest partner.
Do you think I'm making this up?
3 years we stayed.
Excuse me, I was just talking about the chart.
Y'all, this stuff is the real deal. You just
They
read
don't call me the OG
You're the OG.
for nothing. I'm the OG.
Yeah, you were the OG, but like...
I just need my sunglasses.
We got to get a picture with them sunglasses on. There's so much more that I can talk about. I know the depth of astrology now. I'm starting to understand it. It probably goes a lot deeper.
Did you not know till we did this?
I knew Leo, I knew Sag rising, and I knew Libra, but I didn't know what that meant. I just know what Leo meant. So I know I have a lion tattoo on my back, right? Like I've always identified.
See what I mean? It's everywhere. It's so funny. The right brain, the unconscious, knows astrology's real. So whoever's listening, all of you skeptics, you know what my new book I'm writing is called? I Don't Believe in Astrology.
Oh, that's a fantastic
do you know how many
title.
times I hear the story?
Yeah.
And then I get to convert people.
Yeah.
It's a really cool job. And the school, which is only January and September, so it starts in January. I want to bring you in January. That's what Blue did. Because once you see in detail, very simple, there's permission, but more than that, you're going to become really passionate about it. Because when you date someone and you want to know if you're compatible.
That's it. I know. I'll know. I'll know
just
the
call
nature.
Me. I like you. I'll give you my phone
number. I love that. I love Fantastic. Okay. So listen, there's so much more to talk about, but I think that we call for a part 2. Maybe in Hawaii, though. That'd be really nice. A podcast in Hawaii.
You're totally welcome.
Yeah. Like feet on the ground, toucans, wind.
I sleep outside.
You sleep outside. This is what keeps you young, man. This is it. You're getting all the beautiful ions 100%. From nature.
Are you kidding?
The trees, the molecules, you're breathing it in.
I go hiking like a crazy woman.
This is you got some elixir
I have an
of
electric
life.
bike that I ride every single day. I don't get in a car.
You're living the life out there. I can picture you with that electric bike just pulling up to a coffee shop.
Because the last thing I'm going to tell you, when you were born, here we go, one more detail. I feel you're going to have to remember this, but you're so good at this. The planet Neptune, which is the dreamer and the visionary, was sitting right on the eastern horizon when you were born, which is very auspicious. Like when things were above, when I talked about the planets that were on the top, that's very significant, equal to when they are at the point of your soul. And you have the visionary there. So you do see things, and you do get intuitions, and you do have 100%. Kind of like dreams. And it's a little uncomfortable at times because it goes through your body.
Yeah, 100%. The clairvoyancy was since I was a kid.
So what do you mean you don't believe in woo-woo? Your whole audience just heard you say clairvoyance since I was a kid.
Of course. I mean, I seen ghosts as a kid.
Oh, hello.
I feel I can
and
channel.
You didn't believe in astrology, and you were wondering if your audience would like this?
I did not believe in astrology.
Oh, yes,
I did. I didn't know if my audience.
Know nothing about it.
Exactly. I didn't know enough about it. But now
you knew a teeny about it.
Now it's piqued my interest.
I'm so glad. That's my job.
You listen. You are helping me remember so many parts of my own nature.
That's my favorite thing, helping people remember.
Of course. That's why so many of us are here, right? Look, so people, viewers, listeners, What's the website so we can do the
Just
January?
3 words, Debra Silverman Astrology.
Okay. Instagram.
Debra Silverman Astrology.
And I bet you your website's probably the same thing.
Debra Silverman Astrology.
Boom.
And guess what? This is going to crack you up. I have almost 9 million views on these 5-minute videos on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you put in Debra Silverman Leo, a little 5-minute video, and you're going to, it's kind of embarrassing. I acted out. I don't know what was wrong with me. It's years ago, but I acted out these little 5 signs.
Okay, I will check that out. 9 million people can't be wrong.
That's what put me on the map when I was young. I was much younger then. I made them up. I was in LA with a camera a million years ago. And when I first finished, I was so embarrassed when I saw them. I was like, that woman's crazy. Like, we're not putting that out. And then someone was making a website and she was like, do you have any videos? And I said, I got these funny. And then I heard her hysterically laughing in the other room. And she said, can I put these on YouTube?
Oh, and then they put it on. And then that's what, awesome. Everyone go check out the website. Listen, again, lean into discomfort. You ain't ever going to grow if you don't get uncomfortable. Start listening with your heart. The logic will not explain everything. I promise you. See if you feel into this. Listen with your heart. And if you do, all the resources are there for you. What a gift to have you.
All starts with the prayer.
All starts with the prayer. Like you said in the beginning, starts with the prayer. Start praying, start connecting more. Thank you so much for coming from Hawaii.
You. I know.
You are here with a beautiful tan. You're probably getting an electric bike when you get back home. I'm going to be envying you in the middle of the jungle. And
then you're going to come to Hawaii.
100%. The wisdom that you imparted is priceless. Thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you.